Maybe you're planning your first Camino and you're starting to think about what could go wrong. Let's talk about that this week. So if you're planning your first Camino, it's a bit of an adventure. I mean, we're not exactly trekking through the Amazon jungle or trying to climb Mount Everest, but for many people, it's quite an adventure. You might be going to a foreign country, you might not be used to hiking, you could be walking a long distance, and there's naturally going to be some things that people worry about. And so I had a chat with my wife Pat today, and I said, what were some of the things that you were worried about when you first walked your Camino? So I think we've come up with 7. 1, she was worried about getting sick. Well, that's a natural thing to worry about. But hey, as with all of these particular concerns, remember you are walking through a civilized Western country and all the facilities are there generally, unless you're on a very remote Camino. So what happens if you get sick? Well, actually, I have had to get medical help on most of my Caminos because I tend to get injured. On Pat's very first Camino, on a second Camino, I had to take her to the doctor twice. And it was very easy. I think one was in Estella, and we just, in fact, I didn't even ask. I think I just looked up on Google Maps for the Centro de Salud, the health centre, and it was very close by, and we walked around there, and it was a little local hospital. And we walked in, we said, we need to see the doctor. We were straight in within a few minutes. No, the doctor did not speak English. Why would they? We're in Spain. In fact, a lot of the medical staff do, but I don't think we should expect it. But the doctor was great, and she'd obviously seen lots of pilgrims because she said, oh, English? And she brought up Google Translate on her computer and swiveled the screen around, and we both, chatted using Google Translate. And the doctor was fantastic. Pat had to see a doctor a couple of times on that Camino, and both times very good, great service. The medical facilities in Spain are fantastic. I would have to say, I'm in Australia. I think they kind of beat Australia, to be honest. Very, very good. And as with everything on the Camino routes, the particular whatever route you're walking on, particularly the most popular ones, people are used to seeing pilgrims all the time. And so, anywhere along the Camino Frances, for example, doctors there see pilgrims every day of the week, probably. So they're used to dealing with people from all different backgrounds, but with similar problems. So do not worry about if you have to see a doctor. We have also been to a hospital a couple of times on Caminos. And again, that was a fantastic service. Depending on what country you come from, you may be asked to pay a bill at the time. They may send you a bill. Sometimes it's free. It's hard to tell. It depends what sort of reciprocal health arrangements you have with your home country. But generally, healthcare is really good and not expensive. Okay, so what other worry might you have? What if I get problems with my feet? Well, again, I've had problems with my feet, and so has Pat. Again, maybe I was Spanish in a previous life, but the physios in Spain are tremendous. I mean, I have had physios in Spain do things to me and use equipment on me that I've never seen before. And again, they used to sing pilgrims all the time, particularly on the busier routes. So don't worry about that at all. If you need to see a physio, in Spanish it's the same, fisio. So, you can just ask people, use Google Translate, where's a local physio. I saw a fantastic physio I've seen a really good one in Ponferrada and one in Leon. I can't remember which it was. I think it was the one in Leon. They were obviously quite a big physio practice, and they dealt with a lot of sports people. So there were pictures of footballers and bullfighters and all sorts of people around the walls. Wasn't expensive. Again, wasn't expensive. So don't worry about that if you need to see a physio. Sometimes maybe you just need some medication, stomach upsets, aches and pains and things like that. So it's kind of a bit of a health theme perhaps. But if you go to the pharmacies, Farmacia in Spain, the pharmacy staff are great, depending on what language you speak, of course. I'm a native English speaker. My Spanish is very mediocre. I find a lot of medical professionals tend to speak English. If they don't, sign language gets you a very long way. So again, the pharmacy staff are great, and they're very used to dealing with pilgrims. They see them every day of the week. So don't worry about any of that. Obviously, if you have prescription medicines that you need to take, I do, and I tend to take enough with me, because you can't always guarantee that the prescription from home is going to work in Spain, but maybe ask your doctor about that. The pharmacies are also great for, tapes and straps and things like that. We found some fantastic knee bandages in Spain rather. They're obviously a Spanish brand. They're all over the place. If you check my packing list video, I'll show them to you on that video. I'll put the link down below. But again, if you've got knee issues and things like that, the pharmacies have got all that sort of stuff, different types of bandages and knee straps and ankle straps and elbow straps and all that kind of stuff. So really, really good. You don't need to take all of that stuff with you. What other things might you be worried about? Maybe you don't like the food. That's a common question, actually, in Camino circles, planning circles. What if I'm lactose intolerant? What if I can't eat peanuts? This and that. You will find most food in the Camino areas is pretty heavy on meat. And proteins generally. If you have any particular food needs, there are stores in all of the villages. You can always stock up on whatever you need. You're not walking through the wilderness, so don't worry about that. Another worry you might have in the back of your mind is, what if I get somewhere and I can't get a bed? Everybody worries about that, I think, occasionally, particularly on their first Camino. Once you've walked a Camino, you don't worry about it, because generally there are lots of places to stay. And if you happen to come into a village and it's particularly busy and all the beds in that village are gone, well, guess what? You can get a taxi to another village. So generally there will always be the availability of a bed. I know of people who have said, oh, look, I slept in the porch of a church and things like that. I've read stories like that. I don't know anyone who's had to do that. I guess you could if you want to, but generally you'll always be able to get transport to somewhere else that has a bed. You might be wondering, you've got a bad back or something like that. What if I can't carry my pack? Well, on the more popular Caminos, again, the more popular Caminos, more pilgrims, there are sort of more facilities and services. Most of the most popular Caminos will have pack carrying services. I've had to use those when I've been injured. I think one is called Camino Fácil. I can't remember the name of the one that I used. No, I can't remember. But a lot of people have used the post office service. They have a pack carrying service, the Correos. So you can use that as well, and apparently they're very good, and you can book it all online. Wherever you're staying, if you needed to have your pack carried, they generally have all of the brochures and information, at the reception desk wherever you're staying, or the check-in or whatever. And generally the process is that you get a little envelope, you write on there where you want the pack delivered the next day, you put in whatever the charge is, 3-4 euros, you leave your pack there by whatever time in the morning, they'll tell you all that and it gets picked up for you. So those services are available on the more popular routes, not on routes like the Via de la Plata or those ones, as far as I know, not yet anyway. So if you can't carry a pack, don't worry, you could get it sent forward. What if you are hiking along and you sort of think to yourself, I just brought way too much stuff. I didn't need to bring this, I didn't need to bring that, I've got too many of those. What do I do with it? Well, the easy thing is you can dump it. I think everybody on their first Camino takes too much gear. And you'll often hear it referred to as packing your fears. We think, I might need that, I might need this, I better take one, better take two in case one breaks. You're walking through a civilized country with lots of stores and stuff's available, so don't worry about that. But if you find that you've carried too much stuff, things like sleeping mats. I thought I'd take a sleeping mat just in case. You very rarely need a sleeping mat on a Camino. People just dump them and you see them left behind in albergues. So if you've found you've brought too much stuff, you have two options: dump it or mail it ahead. you could mail it to wherever you're going to finish, maybe to Santiago, and pick it up at the post office, or indeed you could mail it home. So just go along to the post office, again, along the more popular Camino routes. We've done it a couple of times. You go in, they know you're a pilgrim, the way you're dressed. They know that you want to send stuff home or send it to Santiago. They have sort of little fold-up box things that you can assemble to send things home, and they've got all the gear in there for you to be able to just pack up your stuff, put the address on it, and send it off. So that's very simple as well. So there we go. I think that's 7 fears, I think, or worries that are quite common, and certainly I was concerned about a couple of those things before I went. What if this? What if that? I even was worried about, what if I'm stuck on a mountaintop in the cold and, I need a hot drink. I was going to take a stove or something. And everybody online said, no, you don't need to take a stove or stuff to make a cup of tea. Just keep walking. You'll come to a cafe in a couple of hours. So, a lot of those worries or concerns are very common. So, don't worry. You are walking across a very civilized country with lots and lots of facilities, and where they have been looking after pilgrims for 1,000 years. So whatever worry you have, you probably don't need to worry about it. And if you've thought of some that I haven't covered, please do comment down below. And if I can help you out with answers to that, I will. And I'm sure lots of other people who are watching the video will be able to help as well. So do you have any other worries that are nagging away at you, planning your first Camino? Please do comment down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.